What's up, guys? We are in the worst timeline, apparently. Sadly, Dominic Reyes lost in the main event of the Perth card tonight in our main event versus Carlos Ulberg. I want to go over the entire recap of the card, but first off, I'm going to show you guys a way you guys can make money through through the pay-per-view cards, as long as you just watch the channel and want to make fight picks yourself. You'll come over to tapology.com/groups/2048, and you just have to sign up for Tapology, which is a free website. You don't have to put any money in or anything. It doesn't take any information, stuff like that. It just wants your email. And then you just make fight picks. Tonight I did horrible on fight picks, sadly, but what I'm saying is, you guys, during each pay-per-view, I pay out $100 to the winner of the pay-per-view event. Jesus, I'm dying here. And I send that through CashApp. So you do have to have CashApp. So I'll send you guys $100. If you tie with someone, I will split the money and send that way. Anyways, congratulations to Donner, the guy who won tonight. His name's DJ. He's actually in our Fight Companion if you watch that, or if you watch the next one, you'll hear him. He only got 2 fights wrong tonight and got 10 correct. So he was the best of our group. I only got 4 fights right out of the entire night. Had a horrible night on fight picks, but I just was not interested in this card other than the main event. Speaking of, we will break down the main event first. It seemed like, Dominic Reyes kind of came in a little bit out of shape, especially in comparison to any of his normal fights. I immediately, on weigh-ins, wanted to pick differently, but I had already made my video, and I was going to stick with my picks. Ulberg just looked so much sharper and was only eating calf kicks. They were really only exchanging kicks at range for a little while there, and then as soon as Dominic Reyes really stepped in to throw a blitz, Ulberg cracks him with a counter left hook and a right hand right over the top of whatever Reyes was trying to throw. I think it was a left hand. And it drops Reyes really badly, and then the follow-up shots just almost Johnny Walker style knock out Dominic Reyes. So sad moment as a Dominic Reyes fan. You don't love seeing it. I picked him, although maybe foolishly, especially knowing how his chin is and knowing Ulberg's got some pretty solid power. It's sad to see, man. I really hate seeing Dominic Reyes go through the ups and the downs, especially. I've been a massive fan of his for a long time, and you hate to see it, especially when he's had like the John Jones rivalry and everything happen. Anyways, impressive knockout from Carlos Ulberg. I was super impressed by his performance. He looked really sharp. He countered a lot of the kicks of Reyes, or was at least attempting to, and trying to make reads on them. So he looked really, really good. I can't wait to make my fight to make next video just for him, really, it feels like. Anyways, moving on to Jimmy Crute versus Ivan Erslan. Jimmy Crute immediately comes out, looks like he's like stepping on nails. Like rat traps are snapping on his feet at all times. Like he just comes out flapping his feet all the time. Like he's got happy feet. I don't know. And it's really troublesome on the feet for him. But once he gets to the ground, man, he is very solid. Like, it's surprising. He'll surprise you. Like, he is not as bad as you imagine he's going to be on the ground. But his stand-up is where I thought Ivan Erslan would be catching him, and he was. He was countering everything he was doing, landing big shots. Jimmy Crute was not defending himself on the feet. He was just putting his hands out and eating shots. He ends up getting Erslan down to the ground and puts him in a choke and ends up submitting him very easily. It kind of like a really pressing up and cranking his neck like that. And Ivan Erslan sits there with his hands on the mat instead of trying to defend the hands and like just slide them off of his jaw like you probably would have been able to do. He decides to just keep his hands on the mat and tap out. Impressive performance from Jimmy Crute, although his striking still needs loads and loads of work, footwork especially. Moving down the card to the featherweight division, we've got Jack Jenkins versus Ramon Tavares. Jack Jenkins puts on a clinic, gets landed on a little bit during some of his kicking exchanges because he was starting to just throw naked kicks by themselves with no combinations in front of them. And Ramon Tavares was starting to time him. Ramon Tavares looked good with his jab, but that was about it. He missed weight going up a weight class, which, he's in the likes of like Kelvin Gastelum there, so we'll see if he gets cut, and Brian Battle. Jack Jenkins looked really good, though. He even used his grappling, although once he went to his back, it started to look like his normal grappling, if you will. So he definitely still needs to work off of his back grappling badly, like at least learn how to get up quickly. But he did look very impressive. Overall boring fight in my opinion, although there were some moments during the fight where it got exciting. Moving on to Neil Magny defeating Jake Matthews via submission in round number 3. Jake Matthews just gets, he gets the better of Neil Magny in rounds 1 and 2 and then starts to gas out, and you see it happen time and time again. Every opponent that Neil Magny fights, if you're not ready in the 3rd round for a fight against Neil Magny, he's going to probably finish you. And Jake Matthews wasn't ready. Jake Matthews either comes out looking like a world beater or like one of the worst fighters in the world, and he did both in this fight. He looked like a world beater early on, was dominating Neil Magny, then gassed out, and Neil Magny beat him. Impressive performance from Magny, although you don't like to see the amount of, domination that was happening early into the fight, but, he did have a good performance, so good on him. Tom Nolan defeating Charlie Campbell by submission in round number 1. Charlie Campbell and Tom Nolan had an absolute war. This was one of the most exciting fights on the card, if not the most exciting fight on the card, outside of the main event, although it was lackluster up until the knockout happened, to be fair. But this was very exciting. They got right to work, just big exchanges. Tom Nolan, after realizing it's pretty 50-50, they're landing heavy shots on each other over and over, both guys landing big shots, lands a spinning back kick, starts to kind of change things for Tom Nolan. He then starts implementing grappling, and you can see Charlie Campbell was hurt really bad from that spinning back kick to the body. And Tom Nolan shucks him over, takes his back, and immediately sinks in a choke, and Charlie Campbell taps out. Great performance from Tom Nolan. He's starting to look like a real problem in this lightweight division. He could evolve into a good fighter. Navajo Sterling defeating Adolfo Bellato by decision. One of the few fights we got right, and perfectly at that. We got the method right, too. Navajo Sterling's not a finisher, and I said this in my fight breakdown. I don't think this guy ever finishes fights, even if it's against guys who are willing to quit. They have to be known quitters over and over for this guy to finish, in my opinion, or extremely, extremely low level. Adolfo Bellato gave him a pretty difficult fight in times, but Navajo Sterling did kind of cruise to an easy decision. Just kind of white Adesanyaing it. Jab, circle, leg kicking, and using very technical striking to win the fight. A lot of clinch work where he didn't do too many effective strikes or anything. Just kind of pushed him against the cage a lot. But overall, very impressive. Cut Adolfo Bellato. Speaking of people we should cut, Andre Petrovsky versus Cam Ralston. In the middleweight division, we have Cam Ralston defeating Andre Petrovsky by round 1 KO. Did not pick this to happen. We did know, though, going in, not confident at all. This guy lost to a hip bone at one point, so you cannot trust his chin. So Cam Ralston comes out, looks super sharp early, long fighter, rangy, lands big shots on Petrovsky, who does land some solid shots back, like some solid calf kicks and stuff. I can't remember too much of the fight. And then Ralston lands a big shot and just drops Petrovsky and then just lands some follow-ups and the fight gets stopped. So impressive performance from him. I really liked it. I hope we get to see him in again soon rather than later. Round 1 knockouts don't warrant 6-month breaks, guys. Let's go. Get him back in here very soon, before the end of the year even, in December. Jamie Malarkey versus Rolando Bedoya. Speaking of another two guys that we need to cut both of them, please. This was not a fun fight. This was boring. Anyone that tells you otherwise is wrong. There were single digit strikes thrown in the first round. There were 20 thrown max in the third round. There were like 50 strikes landed in this entire fight from each opponent. I hate seeing that in the UFC. Like, what would Esteban Rubovic do to these guys? I'm just saying. Like, I hate seeing it. I don't even want to break this fight down. Malarkey won by decision. It was boring. Colby Thickness versus Josias Musasa. A very fun fight. There were some dull moments, but very fun fight overall. Colby, it was very back and forth, to be fair. A good bit of fouls happened, and a point was taken, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. No, that was in another fight. Sorry. But Josias Musasa comes out in the first round for the first 2 minutes or so, lands some big, heavy strikes on the feet. He's starting to get really worried about Thickness. People in my chat or in my Discord call were saying that, oh shit, maybe we picked the wrong guy. And I was like, you guys, he's throwing hard, but he's not landing clean or anything, so I wouldn't worry too much, so he might gas out. And Colby Thickness started to take over in the grappling. And lo and behold, about 2 minutes and 30 seconds in, he gets a takedown. And Musasa finally on the ground, and he dominates him from there. One of the guys, even in my chat or in our group chat, was sitting there saying, like, I thought that was a 10-8 round. And I was like, I don't know. Musasa was landing some strikes early on that I think probably warranted not a 10-8 yet. But I guess I could have seen it had some of those not landed, honestly. But second round comes out. Musasa looks good again. Sharp, landing strikes, doesn't get taken down. If he does, it's not for long. Definitely wins the second round. And then the third round happens. Kind of repeat. Musasa's landing a lot of big, heavy strikes early, and then gets kicked in the balls, gets a 4-minute break, comes out sharp again, hot, and then in the last minute and 11 seconds, I think, Thickness gets a takedown and takes over from there, lands some solid strikes, but nothing too heavy, so I didn't think it warranted him stealing the round or anything because of the amount of strikes and the blood, the damage that Musasa had done to Thickness. So I thought this was a robbery in my opinion, but it is what it is. We're in Australia. They had to give him some love. But good fight overall. Michelle Montague defeating Luana Carolina by decision, women's fight. It was a decision, kind of boring overall, but, Michelle Montague, very pretty, and a good one to look out for now. Moving on to the very first men's fight of the night, we had Brando Perchik versus Alicia Ellison. City kickboxing, 6'5" heavyweight that looked pretty sharp. I'm impressed. He had very good kickboxing. He jab, circle, leg kicked pretty early on. It was oddly familiar, if you will, with the whole city kickboxing guys. And but he looked sharp, so I was highly impressed. He didn't look like your normal blob heavyweight. Knocks out Alicia Ellison very easily. Big, heavy combination to knock him down and then finishes him off. Moving on to Alexa Thainara versus Luma Lukbume. Exactly what we called. We said this would happen. Luma Lukbume is a Thai fighter, and they are just not good. Not the ones from Star Wars. I'm saying the ones from Thailand. Anyways, Alexia Thainara just kind of dominates Luma Lukbume. Lukbume landed some strikes here and there, but Thainara completely dominated her everywhere else. So, impressive performance from Thainara. She'll probably be on my fights to make, sadly. Anyways, guys, hope you guys liked the video. Comment, subscribe. Not going to crash out as bad as I did last time. These fights sucked, but not bad enough for me to crash out. Hope you guys enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys for the fights to make video. And, Yeah, then the next fights. October, awesome cards from here on out, baby. We have awesome, awesome cards. So let's go. No more crash outs unless the fight picks are just wrong. Anyways, have a great day, guys. Bye.